A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News here on TV1. Bringing you the news, I'm Hashni Papirana.
I'm Martin Satyanesan. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this evening.
Nomination process for general election concludes. 74 submissions rejected. Namal on SLPP's national list. Prasanna to not contest from Gampaha. Godaheva drops out too. Madhuma Bandara, Dallas, Sujiva and GL enter SJB's national list. No deals with thieves. NPP victory certain, says Prime Minister.
පොරුන් එක්ක අපිට ගනුදෙනුවක් නැහැ. මේ රටේ ජනතාව රවට්ටපු අයත් එක්ක අපිට ගනුදෙනුවක් නැහැ.
Flood warning issued for Thanagaloya amid heavy showers and lightning. Nobel Peace Prize awarded to Japanese atomic bomb survivors group.
Sri Lanka decides.
On to those stories in detail. The deadline to submit nomination for the general election concluded at noon today. Commissioner General of Elections Saman Sri Ratnayaka said that 74 nominations have been rejected.
A total of 764 nomination papers were received. Of these, 74 nominations were rejected. 690 groups will be contesting in 22 electoral districts in the upcoming election. Today, district returning officers conducted the necessary procedures to allocate symbols to the independent groups. The 74 rejected nominations were dismissed in accordance with Section 15 of the Parliamentary Elections Act No. 1 of 1981. This section stipulates that the nominations not duly submitted are subject to rejection. The reasons for these rejections are based on 7 clear criteria. Any candidate whose nomination has been rejected has the right to appeal to the Supreme Court regarding their dismissal. As you know, the Election Commission operates as an executive authority. We execute our responsibilities in compliance with Act No. 1 of 1981. If any party believes that we have acted contrary to the law, they may pursue legal recourse based on that. I believe this reflects a hallmark of civil society, essentially a developed society. Therefore, we are implementing a law that has been sanctioned by the public through a constitutional framework. The largest political party and the highest number of independent groups contesting will be 64 in the Digamadulla electoral district. For Digamadulla, 72 groups submitted nominations, of which 8 were rejected. We have observed significant competition in the Polonnaruwa Monaragala districts, where 15 political parties and independent groups will be vying against one another. Today marks the conclusion of the nomination process. In the coming days, symbols will be allocated to the candidates from each political party. This will take place after the relevant documents prepared by the district returning officers are received at the main office. The allocation of numbers will be carried out by the Election Commission in the following week. Anyone wishing to contest may present evidence of any misconduct to the Supreme Court. We do not need to engage with individuals operating outside the law. There is no possibility of descending to that level, as we are state institutions. As an Election Commission, we conduct our duties accordingly. I urge you to refrain from attempting to present a distorted narrative again. Adhering to proper procedures is sufficient. The Commission stands ready to act in accordance with any decisions made by the Supreme Court.
The National People's Power submitted nominations for the Colombo district this morning. The group was led by Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya.
ඉතාමත්ම හොඳ කණ්ඩායමක් බලන්න වටේම ඉන්නේ මම හිතන්නේ ශක්තිමත් සියලුම පැතිවලින් හොඳ නියෝජනයක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් ශක්තිමත් කණ්ඩායමක් වටේ බලන්න අපි පොරොන්දු වෙච්ච විදියට පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට අලුත් මුහුණුවරක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් ඒ අවශ්‍ය අත්දැකීම් තියෙන කැපවීම තියෙන ඒ කැපවීම ඔප්පු කරපු කණ්ඩායමක් හරහා මේ රටේ ඉන්න සියලුම ජනතාවට නියෝජනයක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් කණ්ඩායමක් අපි ඉදිරිපත් කරලා තියෙනවා ජනතාවට සහන දෙනවද ඉදිරියේදී කොහොමද මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ජනතාවට අපි බොරු පොරොන්දු දීලා නැහැ කවදාවත් ඒ නිසා අපි කියපු දේ අපි කරනවා අපේ ප්‍රතිපත්තිය අපි ජනාධිපතිවරණයේදී ඉදිරිපත් කරා ඒකේ දුන්න ඒකේ කියපු දේවල් වලට අපි බැඳී ඉන්නවා ඒ වෙනුවෙන් අපි පෙනී ඉන්නවා. අනිත් පක්ෂෝන් සහයෝගය ලබා ගන්නවද ඔබතුමියලා? අපි සියලු දෙනාගේ එකට වැඩ කරන්න සූදානම්. සහයෝගය කියන එක මම හිතන්නේ අපි කියලා තියෙනවා අපි හොරුන් එක්ක අපිට ගනුදෙනුවක් නැහැ. මේ රටේ ජනතාව රවට්ටපු අයත් එක්ක අපිට ගනුදෙනුවක් නැහැ. හැබැයි මේ රට ගොඩනගන්න අවංකව කැපවීමෙන් ඉදිරිපත් වෙන සියලු දෙනා එක්ක වැඩ කරන්න මේ රට ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්න අපි විවෘතයි. අනිවාර්යෙන් 113 නෙවෙයි අපි මම හිතන්නේ ඒකට වඩා ආසන ගානක් අපිට මේ පාර ලැබෙයි කියලා අපිට විශ්වාසයක් තියෙනවා. ඔව් ඒ සාකච්ඡා අපි දිගින් දිගටම කරගෙන යනවා. දැන් ඔබ දන්නවා අපි අපේ රජයත් එක්ක අපි සාකච්ඡා තිබ්බා. ඒක බාධාවක් නැතුව අපි අවශ්‍ය අපේ අදහසුත් දක්වමින් IMF එකේ නිලධාරීනුත් අපිට ඇහුම්කන් දුන්නා. ඒ සාකච්ඡාව ඉතාමත්ම සාර්ථකව කෙරුණා. ඒක අවශ්‍ය විදියට ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්න පුළුවන්.
The faction that backed Ranil Wickremesinghe during the presidential election has submitted nominations for the Colombo district today as the New Democratic Front. Former Minister Dr. Susil Premachayantha leads the group, and Sagla Ratnayaka, the national organizer of the United National Party, is also contesting from Colombo this time.
දෙවෙනි පුරාම දිස්ත්‍රික්ක 22ෙම අපට සම්බන්ධ වන්නා වූ දේශපාලන පක්ෂයේ හැටියට 19කටත් අපේම කණ්ඩායම් එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂ ලකුණු යටතේ දිස්ත්‍රික්ක 3කටත් වශයෙන් දිස්ත්‍රික්ක 22කටම මේ මහා මැතිවරණ සඳහා නාම යෝජනා පත්‍ර ඊයේ සහ අද දිනේදී බාර දීමකට සන්ධානයකට ඉදිරිපත් වන්නේ. ඒ සන්ධානයේ නියෝජනය කරමින් සෑම ක්ෂේත්‍රයක්ම ආවරණය වෙනවා.
අපේ පක්ෂයේ පෙරවතාවේ හිටිය එක මන්ත්‍රීවරයයි රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මැතිතුමා පමණයි. එතුමා මේ අවස්ථාවේදී මැතිවරණට ඉදිරිපත් වෙන්නේ නැත්තේ අපේ පක්ෂයේ සංස්කෘතියක් තියෙනවා. ජනාධිපති ධූරයට ගියාට පස්සේ නැවත පාර්ලිමේන්තු මැතිවරණයකට ඉදිරිපත් වෙලා පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රීවරයෙක් හැටියට කටයුතු කරන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. අපේ පක්ෂේ නායකයෝ බොහෝ දෙනා තරඟ වදිනවා. අනිත් ඒ තරඟ නොවදින අය මේ මැතිවරණ ව්‍යාපාරයට නායකත්වය දෙන්න කටයුතු කරනවා.
The nomination list for the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna from Colombo was presented by retired Rear Admiral Sarath Veerasekara. Namal Rajapaksa, the national organizer of the SLPP, is included in the national list this time, along with Party Secretary Sagara Karyavasam and former MP Tissa Kotiyarachi. The nomination list from the Sarvajana Balaya for Colombo was submitted by Udaya Gamampila.
අපේ නාම යෝජනා බාරගත්තා සටන පටන් ගත්තා ජයග්‍රහණය වෙනතුරු අපේ සටන ගෙනියනවා.
The United National Freedom Front also submitted nominations today in Colombo.
පාර්ලිමේන්තුව තමයි අත්‍යවශ්‍යම තැන. ඒක නිසා පාර්ලිමේන්තුව බලය අපිට ලබා දෙන්නේ කියන එක තමයි අපි මේ අවස්ථාවේදී කෙටියෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටින්නේ. ජනතාව අතරට අපි කැම්පේන් එක ගෙනියනවා.
The People's Struggle Alliance also submitted nominations for the Colombo district today.
ඔබට අලුත් බෝනු විතරක් නෙවෙයි අවශ්‍ය. ඔබ සංසන්දනය කරලා බලන්න. පසුගිය කාලය තුර ඔබේ ඇත්ත විපක්ෂය කොහෙද තිබ්බේ? ඒ ඇත්ත විපක්ෂය තිබ්බේ බිමේ සටන් බිමේ. ඒ සටන් බිම් වල හිටපු අපේ සමාජිකයන්ට පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඒ අවශ්‍ය ස්ථානය ලබා දෙන්න කියලා අපි කොළඹ දිස්ත්‍රික් ජනතාවගෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා.
A group of representatives from the Samaki Jana Sandhanaya also visited the district secretariat today.
ඉතින් අපි හිතනවා සමගි ජන සන්ධානය රට පුරාම හොඳ කණ්ඩායමක් බලවත් කණ්ඩායමක් ඉදිරිපත් කළ තියෙනවා. ඒ හින්දා අපිට පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ බහුතර බලයක් ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා.
Ashin Senaratne's nomination as an independent candidate from the Colombo district was rejected. He expressed his objections at the Colombo district secretariat.
We came here to submit our nominations. After submitting them, they are not letting us contest, watch TV or look into it. They are not letting us contest in this country. They aren't letting the youth contest. Recently, they announced that they cannot accept our nomination. They said that they can't allow independent candidates to submit nominations. The reasoning provided is that we have been marginalized. Fine. If that's the case, we will engage in politics and conduct our political activities in this manner. If we cannot contest, we will explore how traditional politicians navigate the political landscape in Sri Lanka.
Nominations for the Kalathura district from the National People's Power was officially submitted by Group Leader Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa.
In the aftermath of the presidential election, we have received tremendous support from those who chose not to vote for anyone driven by the actions of the president and the small cabinet. We are approaching this with a victorious mindset and spirit. While other groups are genuinely struggling to secure a couple of seats in the opposition, we are committed to establishing a government with a highly capable cabinet and that the people of this nation can confidently support after the 14th of November.
The nominations for the Kalathura district from the Samaki Jana Balawegaya were submitted by the party's CEO Ajit P. Pereira.
Our team includes not only successful businessmen, but also distinguished lawyers, and 2 prominent senior journalists are among us. Additionally, we represent marginalized communities. Therefore, we firmly believe that we are presenting a capable team led by Sajid Premadasa to advance the development of our country.
Rajitha Senaratne presented the nomination list on behalf of the New Democratic Front. Anupa Pascoe was not included in the nomination list from the New Democratic Front for the Kalutara district.
In my district, all 5 former ministers from Kalutara are competing. Our one minister, Kumara Velgama, has sadly passed away, and his son Ratna is contesting in his stead. 2 candidates from the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, including Siripal, are also in the race. In total, 14 candidates are contesting under the gas cylinder symbol.
Meanwhile, footage has emerged on social media showing businessman Sunil Silva protesting against the New Democratic Front candidates Rajitha Senaratne and Vidura Wickramanayake during the nomination submissions this morning.
සත්තු මගලා බලයල්ලා ඔලා ආයෙන්නේ අපි කරපු උදව් අපි කරපු වැඩ ප්‍රතිඵල මේකන අපි ලැජ්ජ වෙන්න ඕන මේගොල්ලෝ ලැජ්ජ වෙන්න ඕන ඒක කියන තමයි ආයෙ
Kalutara district leader of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Sanjeev Edirimanna submitted the party's nomination list today.
Every moment in politics presents a challenge. We are prepared to confront it. We have a comprehensive understanding of all our opponents. We wish them all the best. We are ready to face any challenges that arise during this electoral process with fairness and integrity.
District leader of the Sarvajana Balay, Roshan Ranasinghe, submitted the nominations for Kalutara.
We have a strong opposition and we are committed to fulfilling the promises made to the people, which encompasses 300 pages. Our focus is on taking the necessary actions to honour these commitments.
Former cricketer Tilakaratne Dilshan submitted nominations for Kalutara on behalf of the United Democratic Voice.
වේගයෙන් ආරම්භ කරන මොකද කෙටි කාලයක් තියෙන්නේ අපි අලුත් පක්ෂයක් හැටියට මම හිතනවා මේ මාසය ඇතුළත අපේ සීලම අපිට ආදරය කරන මේ අපේ ජනතාවට මගේ ජනතාව මම කළුතරේ මගේ ජනතාවට ඉතාමත් ඉක්මනින් ගිහිල්ලා කළුතර දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ විශිෂ්ට ජයක් ලබා ගන්න ලොකු බලාපොරොත්තුවක් තියෙනවා.
The National People's Power submitted nominations for the Gampaha district this morning. Minister Vijitha Herath is serving as the district group leader this year as well.
ඇඟට දැනෙච්ච ඒවා ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. ඒ ඇත්තම ගත්තොත් මේක සංක්‍රමණීය කාලයක්. පාර්ලිමේන්තු ශක්තිමත් තත්ත්වයටපත් වුණාම තමයි ගොඩක් දේවල් කරන්න පුළුවන්.
සමතුලිතව දැන් අපිට පේනවා මේ ජනාධිපතිවරණයේ වගේම මේ දරුත් විපක්ෂයේ යම් පිරිස් සුළු දේවල් ලොකු කොට පෙන්නන කාලයක් යනවා. මේකට ඔබතුමාලා තාමත් හරියට මුණ දෙන්නේ නැහැ වගේ. තාමත් ඔබතුමාලත් ඒ සුළු දේවල් කරනවා වගේ පේනවා.
ඉතින් කියන්න දෙයක් නැති වුණාම විවේචන නැති වුණාම පුංචි පුංචි දේවල් අල්ලගෙන ලොකුවට දඟලනවා. ඒවට අපි සැලෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒවා ජනතාව බාරගන්නෙත් නැහැ. ප්‍රතිපත්තිමය වශයෙන් අපි තා ශක්තිමත් තැනක ඉන්නවා. විරුද්ධවාදීන් කර කියා ගන්න දෙයක් නැති තත්ත්වයටපත් වෙලා බංකොලොත් වෙලා ඔය පුංචි දේවල් අරගෙන කෑ ගන්න හදනවා. ඒ වයින් වෙන්නේ ඒගොල්ලෝ තවත් හැලු වෙන එක පමණයි.
Meanwhile, the New Democratic Front, led by Ruwan Wijewardena, submitted nominations for the Gampaha district today. However, Prasanna Ranatunga's name was not included in the list.
එතුමා මං හිතන්නේ තීරණයක් අරන් තිබ්බා මේ සැරේ මේ මහමැතිවරණයට ඉදිරිපත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. එතුමා ඉස්සෙල්ලාම අදහසක් තිබ්බා එතුමා ඉදිරිපත් වෙනවා කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ කොහොමදත් මේ මැතිවරණයට මේ පසුගිය දිනේදී මම හිතන්නේ එතුමා තීරණයක් ගත්තා නැහැ කියලා. නමුත් අනිත් කණ්ඩායම එහෙම ඉන්නවා. ඒ වගේම ප්‍රසන්න රණතුංග මැතිතුමා කියලා තියෙනවා මේ මැතිවරණ කාල සීමාවේදී එතුමා අවශ්‍ය විදිහට උපකාර කරනවා කියලා මැතිවරණ මේ කැම්පේන් එකට.
The district leader of Samagi Janabalawegya, Harshana Rajakarna, submitted the list of nominations for the Gampaha district. Dr. Nalaka Godaheva was not included in the list.
ඒගොල්ලන් නාම යෝජනා ඉල්ලීම් කරේ නැහැ. ඒකින්ද දෙන්නම ඡන්ද ඉල්ලන්න බලාපොරොත්තුවක් නැහැ කියන එක ප්‍රකාශ කරා. ඒකින්ද ඒ අයට නාම යෝජනා ලබා දුන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක ඉතින් එතුමාගෙන් අහන්න. ඒක මං අහන එක.
Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna also submitted nominations for Gampaha district.
එහෙට මෙහෙට පැනලා වරදාන වරප්‍රසාද එක්ක ගිය කිසිදු කෙනෙක් අපි අපේ දේශපාලන පක්ෂයට එකතු කරගෙන නැහැ. හැබැයි අපි අභියෝග කරනවා අද ඉන්න ගොඩක් පක්ෂ එහෙට මෙහෙට ඇහින්දාස්ලා දාගෙන තමයි අද නාම යෝජනා ඉදිරිපත් කරලා තියෙන්නේ.
The leader of the Mahavima Janata Party, Dilip Jayveera, submitted nominations for the Gampaha district today.
අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා දැන් ඉන්නවා ආණ්ඩුවක් ඇවිල්ලා ඒ ආණ්ඩුව යම්කිසි හොඳ සාධනීය දේවල් කරනවා ඒවට උදව් කරන ගමන් ඔවුන් නිවැරදි මාර්ගයක් ගෙනියන්නත් යම් හේකින් යම් අවස්ථාවකදී ජනතා විරෝධී යම් දෙයක් සිද්ධ වෙනවා නම් ඊට විරුද්ධව එඩිතරව පෙනී සිටින්නත් අපි බලාපොරොත්තු.
The United Democratic Voice, led by former MP Ranjan Ramanayaka, submitted nominations for the Gampaha district today.
තිබුණා මල්ලි ඒවා මේ දිසාපති කාර්යාලයෙන් මම හිතන්නේ තැකීමක් කරේ නැහැ කියලා කිව්වා. සුභාරංචිය මට පාර්ලිමේන්තු මැතිවරණට ඉදිරිපත් වෙන්නට අවසර ලැබුණා. ඉතින් මමත් හිතන් හිටියේ යම් කිසි මේ විචිකිච්ඡාවක් තිබුණා මෙහෙම මේ කන්ටෙස්ට් කරන්න පුළුවන් වේද කියලා. මම වරදක් කරලා නැහැ, හොරකම් කරලා නැහැ, මැරකම් කරලා නැහැ කියලා ජනතාව දන්නවා. ආයෙත් ඉතින් ආයෙ කියන්න ඕනේ මගේ චරිතය ගැන ජනතාව දන්නවා. ඇත්ත කතා කළා, තිත් ඇත්ත කතා කළා, පුළුවන්තර හොරු අල්ලන්න උත්සාහ කළා. ඒ හින්දා හිරියන්නත් උනා. ජනතාව මං ගැන සහතිකයක් ඔවුන්ගේ හිතේ ඇති.
The National People's Power submitted nominations for the Anuradhapura district under the leadership of Group Leader Vasantha Samarasinghe.
We asked the opposition groups who predicted that the dollar would rise to 400, that there would be few queues and that the stock market would crash and there would be unrest and property looting. Did those events happen? Look at the peaceful environment today. How did things stand when nominations were submitted for previous elections? How are processes being conducted legally today? The parties in power are acting in accordance with the relevant laws. There is no longer any concern about the National People's Power gaining a majority in parliament.
පාර්ලිමේන්තුව තුළ බහුතරය ගන්නවා කියන කාරණය පිළිබඳව දැන් කිසිදු ගැටලුවක් නැහැ.
The New Democratic Front also submitted nominations for the Anuradhapura district under the leadership of Group Leader Tuminda Disanayaka.
This time we need both a strong government and a strong opposition. I believe the people of this country have now understood that. Therefore, I am confident that the people will make a wise decision in the upcoming election.
The Democratic Left Front also submitted nominations for the Anuradhapura district. The second generation submitted nominations for the Anuradhapura district today under the leadership of Group Leader Viraj Dhananjaya Ranavira. 14 recognized political parties and 2 independent groups from the Polonnaruwa district submitted their nominations for the general election. The New Democratic Front submitted nominations for the Polonnaruwa district under the leadership of team leader Jagath Samaravikrama. The Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna also submitted nominations for the Polonnaruwa district today. Under the leadership of Daham Sirisena, the Sarvajana Balaya formally submitted its nominations for the Polonnaruwa district today.
I believe there was a significant transformation in the Polonnaruwa district between 2015 and 2019, particularly during the presidency of Maithripala Sirisena. Therefore, we are hopeful that we can continue to advance those efforts in Polonnaruwa in the same manner.
The Samagi Jana Balavegya submitted nominations for the Kurunegala district today under the leadership of Group Leader Ashok Abesinghe. The Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna also submitted nominations for the Kurunegala district this morning. The New Democratic Front is contesting in the Kurunegala district under the leadership of Group Leader Anura Priyadarshana Yapa.
There's nothing we can do about it. We made requests to him and asked him to stay with us. We held discussions among our MPs thrice or 4 times. However, we did not get the opportunity. Therefore, we decided to face this election as a strong group.
The National Democratic Front also submitted nominations for the Kurunegala district today.
The Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna, led by Group Leader Nipuna Ranawaka, submitted nominations in Mathura today.
No matter how many votes we receive, a significant portion of our supporters believe in our decisions. As the SLPP, we have made a commitment and entered the elections to provide leadership for that.
The Sarvajana Balaya also submitted nominations today in the Mathura district. The NPP, in the presence of their group leader Nalin Hevage, submitted nominations in Galle today.
I believe this is the moment when the best group of candidates in the Galle district is being represented.
The SLPP submitted nominations in Galle as well. The New Democratic Front is contesting in the Galle district under the leadership of Ramesh Pathirana. The United Democratic Voice, led by Ranjan Ramanayaka, submitted nominations in Galle today in the presence of group leader Asila Sampath.
The Samagi Jana Sandhana, led by district group leader Hesha Vithanage, submitted their nominations in Ratnapura today. Upon arriving at the Ratnapura district secretariat to submit her nomination papers, actress Damitha Aberatna found that her name had been omitted from the Samagi Jana Sandhana list.
I was added to the list by Hesha. There's no need to lie about that. Over the past few days, I have worked across several districts on behalf of the SJB. When asked which district I would prefer to represent, I made no specific request. In fact, when I was asked, Damitha, why aren't you considering the Ratnapura district? I responded that I hadn't even thought about it. Then I was told, I will add your name to the list as we have no female candidates here and since Talatata Kurla has left. That's how my name ended up on the list. If this is being contested, I have proof of the truth. I have a recording of our leader speaking. Last night, I received a call from Hesha informing me that my name had been removed from the list. I asked him whether a lawyer had spoken on my behalf, to which he replied, no such thing happened. I then asked if we would be meeting in the morning and he confirmed we would. I am not blaming the leadership as I still believe in it. However, Hesha misled both the leadership and me by falsely claiming that I had voluntarily withdrawn. I was unaware that Hesha would stoop so low.
This was Hesha Vithanage's response.
The Ratnapura nomination board received a large number of applications, more than 100 applications I believe, but we are only able to grant 14. We do not announce the board's decisions at that very moment. Damitha Aberatna is an artist who provided immense strength to our party, so I believe that there is a need to bring a female political leader right here in the Ratnapura district. Despite the fact that our district team has received a lot of support at the national level, we made the decision not to bring in candidates from outside, but to grow leadership from within. That's why we handed over the Samagi Jana Balavega's nomination papers with a team that's from Ratnapura and truly connected to the people here.
Inquiries regarding this were made to General Secretary Ranjit Manduma Bandara today.
ඒගොල්ලෝ හිතන්නේ මැති එක සම්දානයේ එහෙම වැඩ කරද්දී හැමදාම ඉන්නේ නැහනේ. ඒ වෙන්නේ බලන්නකෝ පොදු ජන සම්දානයේ පොදු ජන පෙරමුණේ කී දෙනෙක් එළියට ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවද? දමිතාව ඉවත් කරාද නැත්නම් එතුමිය නාම යෝජනා ලයිස්ට් වල ඇතුළත් උනේවත් නැද්ද? නෑ සුදුසු අයව තෝරලා තියෙන එච්චර. එතුමිය සුදුසු නෑ. වඩා සුදුසු අය. එතුමිය සුදුසුයි. වඩා සුදුසු අය තුල් කරලා තියෙනවා.
The New Democratic Front, in the presence of former MP Pavitra Wanyarachi, submitted their nomination papers in Ratnapura today.
පිරිසුදු දූෂණ චෝදනා නැති අවංක මහජනතාවත් එක්ක වැඩ කරපු කණ්ඩායමක්. අපි අද රත්නපුර දිස්ත්‍රික්කයෙන් සිලින්ඩරයේ ලකුණෙන් ඉදිරිපත් කරලා තියෙනවා.
Political parties and independent groups submitted their nominations for the 2024 general election in the northern and eastern provinces. A total of 22 recognized political parties and 49 independent groups submitted their nominations in the Digamatula electoral district. Recognized political parties and independent groups submitted their nominations for the general election at the Vaunia District Secretariat today. The National People's Power, the Samaga Jana Balawegaya and the Sri Lanka Labour Party, led by former State Minister Khadir Mastan, submitted their nominations today. The United National Party submitted nominations in the Mana and Mullaitivu districts under the elephant symbol.
This uncorrupt government has been appointed by the people to punish the corrupt. I believe that the President will fulfill that duty. We will win this election and support him.
Today, 17 political parties and 20 independent groups submitted their nominations at the Trincomalee District Secretariat. Among these are the Samaga Jana Balawegaya, the National People's Power, the Ilange Tamil Arasu Katchi, the New Democratic Front, the Janasatha Peramuna, the Janasitha Peramuna and the Sarva Jana Balaya. A group led by KV submitted its nominations at the Jaffna District Secretariat. Former MP Angajan Ramanathan also submitted his nominations today, representing the Democratic National Alliance in Jaffna. The Samaga Jana Balawegaya, led by former MP Murugesu Chandrakumar, also submitted nominations today.
The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna submitted nomination list for the Hambantota district led by district group leader D.V. Chanaka.
අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා ජනාධිපති වරණේ ප්‍රතිඵලයෙන් එහා ගිහිල්ලා විශිෂ්ට ජයග්‍රහණයක් විශේෂ ආණ්ඩු පක්ෂයට අභියෝගයක් ඉදිරිපත් කරන.
The Samaga Jana Sandhanaya also submitted their nominations for the Hambantota district today.
අපි අපේ අපේක්ෂා කණ්ඩායම දමියෝ ඉදිරිපත් කරලා නැහැ. අපේක්ෂා කණ්ඩායමට වෙනත් කණ්ඩායම ඉදිරිපත් කරලා නැහැ. බිම් මට්ටමේ ජනතාවත් එක්ක ජීවත් වෙන කොට්ටාසයක් තමයි අද අපි ඉදිරිපත් කරලා තියෙන්නේ හම්බන්තොට district.
The New Democratic Front also submitted nominations for the Hambantota district today under the leadership of group leader Mahinda Amaraveera.
මට ලොකු විශ්වාසයක් තියෙනවා ජනතාව අපේ කණ්ඩායම ජයග්‍රහණය කරයි විශිෂ්ට විදියට.
The Samaga Jana Sandhanaya, Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, New Democratic Front and United Democratic Voice submitted their nominations for the Matale district today at the Matale district secretariat. The Samaga Jana Sandhanaya submitted nominations for the Kandy district today under the leadership of district group leader Tissa Attanayaka.
මහනුවර ජනතාවට පිළිගත හැකි විශ්වාසනීය කණ්ඩායමක් අපි ඉදිරිපත් කරලා තිබෙනවා. මොකද ජනාධිපතිවරණයේදී අපි දැක්ක අඩුපාඩුකම් හදාගෙන මේ මැතිවරණයේදී අපි සූදානම් මහනුවර දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ ජයග්‍රහණය කරවන්න.
අපි සමගි ජන බලවේගයේ සන්දානගත පක්ෂයක් හැටියට අපි එකතුව තරඟ කරනවා දිස්ත්‍රික්ක 7ක. ඒ වගේම වෙන්ව තරඟ කරනවා දිස්ත්‍රික්ක 2ක. මඩකලපුව සහ අම්පාර දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ අපි තනියම තරඟ කරනවා.
The New Democratic Front also submitted nominations from Kandy today under the leadership of district group leader Mahindananda Alutgamage.
පාර්ලිමේන්තුව නියෝජනය කරපු මන්ත්‍රීවරු මැති ඇමතිවරු 5 දෙනෙක් මේ කණ්ඩායම නියෝජනය කරනවා. ඒ වගේම විවිධ වෘත්තිකයන්, ඒ වගේම තරුණ කණ්ඩායම්, කාන්තාවන් ඉතාම හොඳ කණ්ඩායමක් මහනුවර දිස්ත්‍රික්කයෙන් අපේ පක්ෂයෙන් අපි ඉදිරිපත් කළා.
Under the leadership of Dilum Mamunugama, the Sarva Jana Balaya also submitted nominations for the Kandy district today. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna submitted its nominations for the Kandy district today under the leadership of Professor Ranjit Bandara.
දේශපාලනේ පසුබෑම් සිද්ධ වෙනවා. හැබැයි මතක තියාගන්න මේ පසුබෑම් හැම එකක්ම ජයග්‍රහණය සඳහා වන මං සලකුණු. අපි පෙරටත් වඩා ශක්තිමත් ජවයෙන් යුක්ත තමයි මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව.
Meanwhile, the period for the submission of national lists has now concluded.
Several political parties presented the names of their nationalist candidates to the Election Commission this morning. The National People's Power today submitted their national list to the Election Commission. A group that includes Bima Ratnayaka and other professionals are featured in their national list.
අපි ඔක්කොම පොදු වැඩ කටයුත්තක් කරන්නේ කොන්දේසි විරහිතව මම කලාවේ නියැලෙන කෙනෙක් විදිහට ජාතික ජන බලවේගයට එකතු වුණේ මේ රට යහපත් රටක් ලස්සන රටක් පොහොසත් රටක් යහපත් සමාජයක් නිර්මාණය කරන්න.
The Samaga Jana Balawegya's list consists a group including Ranjit Madhuma Bandara, Professor G.L. Piris, Dallas Alha Peruma, Sudarshani Fernando Pulle, Imtiaz Bakir Makar and Sujiva Senasinghe. The Sarva Jana Balaya has also submitted their national list to the Election Commission today.
ලයිස්තුව බාර දුන බොහොම සාර්ථක, නිරවුල්, නිවැරදි, නිර්මල ලයිස්තුවක් බාර දුන්නා. අපේ කොමියුනිස්ට් පක්ෂ මහලේකම්තුමා ඉන්නෝ ડોક્ટર ජී වීරසිංහ අපේ පක්ෂ මහලේකම්තුමා ඉන්නෝ නීතිඥ රංජන් සෙනවිරත්න මම ඉන්නෝ හේම කුමාර නායකකාර තව ඉන්නෝ මහාචාර්යවරු ආචාර්යවරු ඒ වගේම සමාජ ක්‍රියාකාරිකයන් හොඳ පිරිසක් ඉන්නවා.
Over the past few days, we have explored numerous factors that have contributed to our country's current situation. Here is another reminder.
What happened to Sri Lanka?
Do you remember the Express Pearl maritime disaster in May 2021? The Express Pearl arrived from the port of Hazira in India on the 15th of May, carrying 25 tons of nitric acid, various other chemicals, and 1,486 containers of cosmetic products. On the 19th of May, the Express Pearl reached the vicinity of Colombo port and was anchored 9.5 nautical miles away. The fire on the ship broke out on the 20th of May, but it was later revealed that there had been a nitric acid leak on board prior to this. Attempts to offload the leaking container at the ports of Hazira in India and Hamad in Qatar were denied due to the lack of adequate technology to handle such hazardous materials. Did the Colombo port have the necessary facilities to handle this? Or were the authorities unaware of the impending danger until the ship arrived? Alternatively, was there a deliberate intention to bring the ship to Colombo? These questions require a thorough investigation. When the fire started on the 20th of May, the sea was rough and it was raining. Initially, seawater was used to try to extinguish the fire in containers holding nitric acid. Later, chemicals were used and eventually, India also provided assistance. We also witnessed how the minister in charge of the port at the time was giving instructions from the control room to extinguish the fire. Despite these efforts, the ship sank 13 days later. In addition to nitric acid, the ship carried numerous containers of plastic pellets used as raw materials for plastic production. This resulted in significant environmental damage, with an estimated 1,680 metric tons of plastic pellets entering the Sea of Sri Lanka. A recent report by the Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Sciences and Technology at the University of Ruhuna highlighted the harmful impact of microplastics on the marine environment. The report revealed the extent of the damage, with dead fish, turtles and dolphins washing ashore. Over 200 dead turtles were found in various locations. The damage caused by the disaster is immeasurable. Do you remember what the state minister in charge of the marine environment said at the time?
මේ වාරකන් කාලේ බොහෝ අනතුරු වෙන්නට පුළුවන්. දැන් උදාහරණයක් වශයෙන් මම පරිසරවේදියෙක් නෙවෙයි. මට සමහර පරිසරවේදියෝ මම දැක්ක සමාජ ජාලවල කියලා කියනවා. ඒ වගේ සමාජ පරිසරවේදියෝ මාත් එක්ක ඍජුවත් කියලා කියනවා. වාරකන් කාලේට සත්තු අනතුරු වලට ලක් වෙනවා.
There is no need to reiterate the extent of the Express Pearl disaster. We all witnessed it. While we cannot restore the damage, we have an opportunity to seek compensation. So far, we have received $10 million, which was used to control the fire, clean the beaches and compensate fishermen. However, the issue of compensation remains unresolved. Legal proceedings are ongoing in Sri Lanka and in Singapore. Reports indicate that the shipping company has obtained a court order in the UK to limit the compensation. It has also been revealed that a significant amount of data and emails from the ship's system were deliberately deleted after the fire. Meanwhile, the ship has been dismantled and removed. On the 12th of May last year, the then Minister of Justice made a serious allegation of bribery related to the Express Pearl incident.
ඔහු මට WhatsApp පණිවිඩය මගින් අප්‍රේල් 6 වෙනිදා ඉදිරිපත් කරා නැට්වෙස්ට් බැංකුවේ ආවල් නම තියෙන කෙනාගේ ගිණුමට ඩොලර් මිලියන 250ක් බැර වෙලා තියෙනවා. මේ ගිණුමේ නම තියෙන කෙනා නීතිපති දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවේ අපේ නඩු කටයුතු කරන නිලධාරියාගේ ඥාතියෙක් කියලා. හැබැයි මම ඒක CID එකට දුන්නා.
That's all there is to it. In 2010, British Petroleum was fined $4 billion for the environmental damage caused by the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. Similarly, the recent blockage of the Suez Canal by a cargo ship resulted in a $550 million compensation. These are not trivial matters. Ships are insured and these transactions involve billions of dollars. It is not unreasonable to seek compensation for the Express Pearl disaster. Did someone benefit from this disaster? Is that why we have not yet received fair compensation? These questions must be investigated. We are enduring heavy taxes to overcome the economic crisis and receiving $2.9 billion from the IMF. How many times more could we receive if we obtained fair compensation for the Express Pearl disaster? Isn't it the public's expectation to see justice served for our country?
The power of the people.
A virtual discussion was held between President Anura Kumara Dissanayake and USAID Administrator Samantha Power.
During President Anura Kumara Disanayake's virtual meeting with the Administrator of the United States Agency for International Development, Samantha Power, they discussed potential collaborations aimed at advancing Sri Lanka's development initiatives, with USAID support being a key topic. The President expressed enthusiasm about enhancing ties with USAID, emphasizing the importance of aligning efforts with the priorities of the Sri Lankan people.
The commander of the US Pacific Fleet and the Sri Lankan Navy commander held talks last evening.
The commander of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, Admiral Stephen T. Kohler, met with the commander of the Navy, Vice Admiral Priyantha Perera, at the Navy headquarters. The four-star U.S. Navy Admiral was accorded a Guard of Honor in compliance with naval traditions. Discussions between Admiral Stephen T. Kohler and Vice Admiral Priyantha Perera mainly focused on rising security challenges in the Indian Ocean region, strengthening collaborations on maritime domain awareness and disaster response, reaffirm U.S. commitment to supporting Sri Lanka in combating transnational threats, discussing the growing cooperation between US and Sri Lankan Navy, and promoting peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. Admiral Stephen T. Kohler participated in a briefing on the Navy's operational functions and visited the Maritime Rescue Coordination Center, or MRCC, in Colombo.
The third iteration of the Marines Field Training Exercise Blue Whale 2024, organized by the Sri Lanka Navy Marines, concluded successfully yesterday. The exercise took place along the beach and the sea areas of Mullikulam in the Northwestern Naval Command.
That the UNHRC resolution on Sri Lanka underscores continued need for international scrutiny.
Amnesty International says the adoption of the UN Human Rights Council's resolution underscores the continued need for international scrutiny on human rights concerns in Sri Lanka. Babu Ram Pant, Deputy Regional Director for South Asia at Amnesty International, said that while the extension of the mandate is a welcome step towards supporting accountability, it is disappointing to note that the resolution was extended only by a year, despite calls for at least a 2-year renewal by local civil society and international organizations. Amnesty International added that as the country is undergoing a period of political transition following the recent presidential elections and with general elections scheduled for next month, it is critical that the new Sri Lankan government breaks from the past and fully engages with the UN Human Rights Council and OHCHR's Sri Lanka Accountability Project. It noted that it was disappointing, therefore, that the government instead chose to continue past policy and express opposition to evidence gathering by the UN, noting that this casts a shadow on the government's willingness to utilize available resources to ensure accountability for serious human rights violations and risks perpetuation of deep-rooted impunity.
2 Sri Lankan peacekeepers have been injured in Lebanon.
2 Sri Lankan peacekeepers in Lebanon have been injured after an Israeli airstrike targeted a village in Nakora. The military spokesperson speaking to Newsfirst said that following the airstrike, the Sri Lankan peacekeepers suffered very minor injuries. He stressed that the UN Command Center was not the target of the airstrike, and the target was in fact a nearby village. The National News Agency of Lebanon on its official website said that the Israeli enemy forces today launched an artillery shell targeting the main entrance of the UNIFIL Command Center in Nakora, resulting in damages at the site. The United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon said that UNIFIL's Nakura headquarters and nearby positions have been repeatedly hit. It said that last morning 2 peacekeepers were injured after an IDF Merkava tank fired its weapons towards an observation tower at UNIFIL's headquarters in Nakura, directly hitting it and causing them to fall. The injuries are fortunately this time not serious, but they remain in hospital. IDF soldiers also fired on UN position 1-31 in Labuni, hitting the entrance to the bunker where peacekeepers were sheltering and damaging vehicles and a communication system. An IDF drone was observed flying inside the UN position up to bunker entrance. On Wednesday, IDF soldiers deliberately fired at and disabled the position's perimeter monitoring cameras. United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon said that they also deliberately fired on UN 132A in Ras Nakura, where regular tripartite meetings were held before the conflict began, damaging lighting and a relay station. United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon remind the IDF and all actors of their obligations to ensure the safety and security of UN personnel and property and to respect the inviolability of UN premises at all times. UNIFIL peacekeepers are present in South Lebanon to support and return to stability under Security Council mandate. It added that any deliberate act on peacekeepers is a grave violation of international humanitarian law and the Security Council Resolution 1701.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amrasuriya has requested the Thai government's assistance in rescuing Sri Lankans still detained in cybercrime camps in the Myawaddy region of Myanmar.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amrasuriya has requested the Thai government's assistance in rescuing Sri Lankans still detained in cybercrime camps in the Myawaddy region of Myanmar. This request was made during a meeting with the Thai ambassador Paithun Mahapanapon at the Prime Minister's office. The Prime Minister expressed her gratitude for Thailand's support in rescuing 28 Sri Lankans from these centres. However, she highlighted that 40 more Sri Lankans remain detained and called for continued cooperation to secure their release. Discussions also focused on strengthening bilateral relations between Sri Lanka and Thailand, developing the tourism industry, utilising modern agricultural technology, and enhancing collaboration in research fields such as post-harvest technology and food processing involving the agricultural faculties of the University of Ruhuna and the University of Wimber in Sri Lanka.
The Department of Meteorology warns that the northern, eastern, north central and Uva provinces are likely to experience heavy showers and thunderstorms tonight. According to weather forecast, showers or thunder showers will occur at times in western, Sabaragamuwa, southern, northwestern and central provinces. A flood warning was also issued for the Attanagalu area for the next 48 hours.
Due to heavy showers, many low-lying areas have been inundated. The Met Department reported that the highest rainfall was recorded in Hangwella with 276 millimeters in the 24 hours leading to 8:30 a.m. today. The Hangwella-Paduka main road was inundated in Malvatta due to the overflowing of the Pusalioya.
We expect rainfall of 150 millimeters in some areas in the Gaul and Matra districts as well as western and Sabaragamu provinces today. Showers or thunder showers are likely to develop in the evening or at night across the rest of the island. In those provinces, we anticipate heavy rainfall of up to 75 millimeters today. In the western, Sabaragamu and southern provinces, strong winds of 40 to 50 kilometers per hour may occur at times. We urge the public to remain vigilant and take necessary precautions. We expect the rain from this turbulent weather to continue for the next 2 or 3 days. However, its intensity is anticipated to gradually decrease.
අද උදෑසන 8:30 අවසන් වූ පැය 24 තුල දිවයිනේ නිර්දදිග ප්‍රදේශවල විශේෂයෙන්ම
In the 24 hours leading up to 8:30 this morning, there was significant rainfall across many parts of the island, particularly in Gampaha, Colombo, Kolathura, Gaul and Ratnapura. In some areas, rainfall exceeded 200 millimeters during this period. Residents in the low-lying areas of Attanagaluoya and the Kalani River should remain very vigilant. Kalu River is currently at risk too. People in the low-lying areas of Ginganga, particularly in the divisional secretariat divisions of Baddekama and Nagoda, should exercise extreme caution.
ගිංගගේ පහළ ප්‍රදේශවලත් විශේෂයෙන් බද්දේකම නාගොඩ වැනි ප්‍රාදේශීය ලේකම් කොට්ටාශවල පහත්බිම් ප්‍රදේශවල පදිංචි ජනතාව දැඩි අවධානයකින් පසුවීම වැදගත්.
The low-lying areas of Vahaliagoda as well as by-roads in Gatahatha have been inundated. The water level of the Ging River has risen with Baddegama rainfall recorded at 3.65 meters this morning. Additionally, the Minuwangoda section in the Colombo-Kurunagala main road has also been inundated at the Ambavatta junction. The Bulat-Kahupetiya Yatiyanthota road in Parusalla has been inundated due to overflowing of the Vioya. Meanwhile, a person has been reported missing in Valihinda Kaduwela as a result of flash floods. Two sluice gates of the Polgolla Mahavali Dam have been opened.
The 2024 Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to a Japanese atomic bomb survivors group for its efforts to achieve a world free of nuclear weapons.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee decided to award the 2024 Nobel Peace Prize to the Japanese organization Nihon Hidanko.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the Peace Prize for 2024 to the Japanese organization Nihon Hidankyo.
This grassroots movement of atomic bomb survivors from Hiroshima and Nagasaki, also known as Hibakusha, received the Peace Prize for its efforts to achieve a world free of nuclear weapons and for demonstrating through witness testimony that nuclear weapons must never be used again. On the awarding of this year's Nobel Peace Prize to Nihon Hidankyo, the Norwegian Nobel Committee wished to acknowledge one encouraging fact: no nuclear weapon has been used in war in nearly 80 years. The extraordinary efforts of Nihon Hidankyo and other representatives of the Hibakusha have contributed greatly to the establishment of the nuclear taboo. The Norwegian Nobel Committee said that it is therefore alarming that today this taboo against the use of nuclear weapons is under pressure. The nuclear power are modernizing and upgrading their arsenals. New countries appear to be preparing to acquire nuclear weapons, and threats are being made to use nuclear weapons in ongoing warfare. The Norwegian Nobel Committee said that at this moment in human history, it is worth reminding what nuclear weapons are, the most destructive weapons the world has ever seen. On the 6th of August 1945, during World War II, an American B-29 bomber dropped the world's first deployed atomic bomb over the Japanese city of Hiroshima. The explosion immediately killed an estimated 80,000 people. Tens of thousands more would later die of radiation exposure. 3 days later, a second B-29 dropped another atomic bomb on Nagasaki, killing an estimated 40,000 people. Japan's Emperor Hirohito announced his country's unconditional surrender in World War II in a radio address on the 15th of August, citing the devastating power of a new and most cruel bomb. By the end of 1945, the bombing had killed an estimated 140,000 people in Hiroshima and a further 74,000 in Nagasaki. In the years that followed, many of the survivors would face leukemia, cancer, and other terrible side effects from the radiation. And for all survivors, cancers related to radiation exposure still continue to increase throughout their lifespan, even to this day, 7 decades later.
From that, we bring to a close this edition of Primetime News on TV1.
Thank you for watching.
Good night.
Good night.